The Assembly Committee on Government Affairs will come to order. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Assemblywoman Anderson. Assemblywoman Black. Assemblywoman Brown May. Assemblywoman Considine. Assemblywoman Dickman. Assemblywoman Duran.
Here.
Assemblyman Ellison. Assemblywoman Martinez. Assemblyman Matthews. Assemblyman MacArthur. Assemblywoman Thomas. Assemblywoman Torres. Chair Flores.
Present. Please let the record reflect all members are present. We have a quorum. Good morning, all. I see everybody came in this morning to make sure we didn't do anything crazy with your bills. I promise you, we won't. But then again, I've said that many times, and then. So I do intend to take the agenda in the order it appears. So we'll go down the work session document exactly as you see it. I do know for a fact that there are numerous humans who are trying to get into the building right now. So I do ask that if you, once you've had your 2 or 3 bills that you're working on, or if it's your one bill, I do ask that you please vacate the seat so that we could allow that other individual to come in. And as I know there's some folk that have worked on some amendments, and namely they want to make sure that we get them in here in case there's any questions for them. So with that said, members, thank you all for reaching out and giving me a heads up of where everybody's at so that we can avoid any situations. For this morning, what I intend to do, there are some bills where the sponsor and or I decided to roll and move them off the agenda for the purposes of just making sure that we're all on the same page. As we get to them, I will be giving you a heads up that we're going to be moving those bills, and I'll give you a better idea as to when we'll be putting those on work session. So with that, we're going to start off the work session document with Senate Bill 12. For those of you wishing to join us for public comment, please know that we'll be doing that at the conclusion of today's hearing. With that, Mr. McDonald, Senate Bill 12, please.
Thank you, Chair. This is Jared McDonald, Research Division. Senate Bill 12 requires certain notices before the termination, expiration, or ending of a restriction related to the affordability of certain housing. This was sponsored by Senate Government Affairs on behalf of the Advisory Committee on Housing and heard on April 29th. The bill requires the owner of any housing that has been financed by the federal low-income housing tax credit or other money subject to affordability restrictions to provide certain written notice prior to the termination, expiration, or ending of an affordability restriction. We have no amendments on this bill. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to do pass Senate Bill 12.
Second.
Assemblywoman Anderson has made the motion to do pass Senate Bill 12, and Assemblywoman Brown May has seconded that motion. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. Motion carries unanimously. And if I may ask, Assemblyman Matthews, if I could ask that you please do that floor statement.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Assemblyman Matthews will do the floor statement on Senate Bill 12. Next on the work session document, we have Senate Bill 14. Mr. McDonald, please.
Thank you, Chair. Senate Bill 14 revises provisions related to certain emergency response plans and assessments. This bill was sponsored by Senate Government Affairs on behalf of the Division of Emergency Management and heard in this committee on April 21st. The bill requires the Division of Emergency Management to post its guide regarding the preparation of emergency response plans on its website and requires that a copy of the guide be provided to certain persons or entities upon request. We have no amendments on this bill. Thank you, sir.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to do pass Senate Bill 14. Assemblywoman Dickman has made the motion to do pass Senate Bill 14. Madam Vice Chair has seconded that motion. Members, any discussion? No. Do pass. Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay.
Aye.
Who are the nays? Oh, making sure, no nays, correct? Motion carries unanimously. And Assemblywoman Duran, I just realized that there may be a slight delay, so I'll make sure I slow down a bit there for you. My apologies. Motion carries unanimously, and if I may ask Assemblywoman Duran to do that floor statement.
Thank you.
Assemblywoman Duran is an enthusiastic yes to that floor statement. Next on the work session document, Senate Bill 15. Mr. McDonald, please.
Thank you, Chair. Senate Bill 15 revises provisions related to grant procurement, coordination, and management. This bill was sponsored by Senate Government Affairs on behalf of the Department of Administration and heard in this committee on April 21st. The bill applies the standard of the greatest extent practicable to certain duties of the Administrator of the Office of Grant Procurement, Coordination, and Management. The bill also authorizes the Administrator to develop a manual of policies related to grant procurement, coordination, and management for state agencies. We have no amendments. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, we'll entertain a motion to do pass Senate Bill 15. Madam Vice Chair has made the motion to do pass Senate Bill 15, and Assemblywoman Martinez has seconded that motion. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those against, say nay.
Aye.
The nays, please. Oh, again, it's Assemblywoman Duran. Those against, please say nay. Motion carries unanimously. And if I may ask Assemblywoman Black, if you could please do that floor statement. Thank you. Assemblywoman Black will do the floor statement for Senate Bill 15. Next on the work session document is Senate Bill 16. Mr. McDonald, please.
Senate Bill 16 revises provisions related to the Nevada Commission on Minority Affairs. This bill was sponsored by Senate Government Affairs on behalf of the Department of Administration and heard on April 13th. The bill transfers the duty to provide staff assistance to the Nevada Commission on Minority Affairs from the Department of Administration to the Department of Business and Industry. We have no amendments. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to do pass Senate Bill 16. Assemblywoman Thomas has made the motion to do pass Senate Bill 16. Do I have a second? Second. Vice Chair Torres has seconded that motion. Members, any discussion? Assemblyman Ellison, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to be voting no. I'm going to reserve my rights. I still got some concerns. I think that should stay right where it's at for the cost. And so I'm hoping I can get this resolved before floor. But right now, I've got calls out, but I haven't got them back. So thank you.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those against, say nay. If the nays could please raise their hands. Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblyman Matthews, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblywoman Black, and Assemblyman Ellison are nays. Motion carries. And if I could please ask Assemblywoman Considine to do that floor statement. Assemblywoman Considine will do the floor statement for Senate Bill 16. Next on the work session document is Senate Bill 28. Mr. McDonald, please.
Senate Bill 28 revises provisions of the Nevada Code of Military Justice. This bill was sponsored by Senate Government Affairs on behalf of the Office of the Military and heard on April 15th. The bill establishes the offense of sexual harassment within the Nevada Code of Military Justice and provides that a person who is guilty of sexual harassment shall be punished by way of non-judicial punishment or as a court-martial may direct. The bill also makes the existing code regarding sexual assault consistent with the provisions of the Uniform Code of Military Justice of the Armed Forces of the United States and a directive from the U.S. Department of Defense. We have no amendments on this bill. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to do pass Senate Bill 28. Madam Vice Chair has made the motion to do pass Senate Bill 28. Assemblywoman Considine has seconded that. Do I have any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against, say nay. If the nays could please raise their hands. Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblyman Matthews, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblywoman Black, and Assemblyman Ellison are nays. Motion carries. And if I could ask Assemblywoman Thomas, if you could please do that floor statement. Thank you. Next on the work session document is Senate Bill 37. Mr. McDonald, please.
Thank you, Chair. Senate Bill 37 revises certain provisions related to the process by which a district attorney may request assistance in criminal cases from the Office of the Attorney General. This bill was sponsored by Senate Government Affairs on behalf of the Attorney General and heard on April 14th. The bill provides that a district attorney is not required to present the reasons for requesting the presence of the Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, or Special Investigator to provide assistance in criminal cases to the Board of County Commissioners of his or her county. The bill also have the board adopt a resolution joining in the request unless the Attorney General intends to seek reimbursement for expenses incurred in providing assistance to the district attorney. And we have no amendments on this measure. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to do pass Senate Bill 37. Assemblyman Matthews has made the motion to do pass Senate Bill 37. Do I have a second? Assemblywoman Anderson has seconded that motion. Members, any discussion? Assemblyman Ellison, please. Assemblyman, just to be clear, I want to make sure, is your microphone on?
It is now.
Perfect. If you want to just state that one more time.
Yes, sir.
so that
For
we
the
get it clear.
record, my problem is, I think that every county should be advised anytime that there's somebody's going to be making changes on a case, whatever. So I'm a no on this. It's a good bill. I just think that the county should be informed. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman. Any additional discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. Assemblyman Ellison is a nay. Motion carries. And if I could please ask Assemblywoman Dickman, if you could please do that floor statement. Assemblywoman Dickman will do the floor statements for Senate Bill 37. Next on the work session document is Senate Bill 38. Mr. McDonald, please.
Senate Bill 38 establishes provisions governing the retention of pro bono legal assistance by the Office of the Attorney General. This was sponsored by Senate Government Affairs on behalf of the Attorney General and heard on April 22nd. The bill authorizes the Attorney General or any other officer, agency, or employee of the Executive Department to enter into a pro bono contract with an attorney or law firm engaged in private practice for legal services if the Attorney General determines that the provisions of such legal services is necessary. And we have no amendments on this measure. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to do pass Senate Bill 38. Assemblywoman Brown May has made the motion to do pass Senate Bill 38. Do I have a second?
Second.
Vice Chair Torres has seconded that motion. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay.
Aye.
If the nays could please raise their hands. Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblyman Matthews, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblywoman Black, and Assemblyman Ellison are nays. Motion carries. And if I could please ask Assemblywoman Brown May to please do the floor statement. Assemblywoman Brown May will do the floor statement for Senate Bill 38. Next on the work session document is Senate Bill 47.
Senate Bill 747 revises provisions governing public borrowing. This bill was sponsored by Senate Government Affairs on behalf of the State Treasurer and heard on April 15th. The bill authorizes the State Board of Finance to continue to issue certain interim debentures to pay for the general operations of the state beyond the current expiration date of June 30, 2021. The bill permits the board to issue not more than $150 million in interim debentures if the state treasurer determines that the balance of the State Journal Fund is insufficient to meet upcoming obligations, notifies IFC if the insufficiency and its amount, and includes a request to IFC to allow the issuance of interim debentures for the board. Finally, the bill provides that if the IFC does not act within 15 days of receiving the state treasurer's notification, the request is deemed approved. We have no amendments on this measure. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to do pass Senate Bill 47. Assemblywoman Torres has made the motion to do pass Senate Bill 47. Assemblywoman Anderson has seconded that. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those against, say nay.
Aye.
If the nays could please raise your hands. Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblyman Matthews, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblywoman Black, and Assemblyman Ellison are nays. Motion carries. And if I could please ask Assemblywoman Anderson to do the floor statement for that. Thank you, Assemblywoman. Assemblywoman Anderson will do the floor statement for Senate Bill 47. Next on the work session document, Senate Bill 72. Mr. McDonald, please.
Senate Bill 72 makes various changes related to common interest communities. This bill was sponsored by Senate Judiciary on behalf of the Real Estate Division and heard on April 23rd. Senate Bill 72 revises several provisions concerning common interest communities. The bill, among other provisions, provides that a limited purpose association must comply with the requirements of the Uniform Code of Interest Ownership Act pertaining to the establishment and foreclosure of a lien for assessments. The bill also provides that an executive board may meet in executive session with an attorney on matters that are protected by attorney-client privileges. And we have no amendments on this measure. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to do pass Senate Bill 72.
So moved.
Vice Chair Torres has made the motion to do pass Senate Bill 72. Do I have a second? Assemblywoman Thomas has seconded that motion. Members, any discussion? Assemblywoman Considine, please.
Thank you, Chair. Just want to say I am voting yes on this bill, but I do hope after a conversation that I had that when the CIC gets together that they include a member of code enforcement or Metro as a non-voting member to help devise these rules. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any additional discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against, say nay. If the nays, if you could please raise your hands. Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblyman Matthews, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblywoman Black, and Assemblyman Ellison are nays. Motion carries. And if I could please ask Assemblywoman Martinez, could I ask that you please do that floor statement? Assemblywoman Martinez will do the floor statement for Senate Bill 72. Next on the work session document is Senate Bill 109. Mr. McDonald, please.
Senate Bill 109 revises provisions related to the collection of certain information by governmental agencies. This bill was sponsored by Senator Spearman and heard on April 27th. The bill requires a governmental agency that collects demographic information related to a person's race or ethnicity to also request information related to a person's sexual orientation and gender identity or expression. The bill also provides, with limited exception, that such information is confidential, authorizes the agency to use such information only for certain purposes, provides that no person shall be required to provide information related to the person's sexual orientation and gender identity or expression, and requires a governmental agency to submit to the director of the LCB an annual report regarding information received regarding sexual orientation and gender identity or expression. We do have one amendment that was proposed for this bill, and it was discussed during the hearing. You can see that on the next page. The City of Reno proposes to amend the bill to provide an exception to clarify that law enforcement would not need to inquire about a person's sexual orientation or gender identity when gathering information in the course of their duties. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to amend and do pass Senate Bill 109. Please let the record reflect that Assemblywoman Duran is absent excused as she is presenting before the Senate. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to amend and do pass Senate Bill 109. Madam Vice Chair has made the motion to amend and do pass. Do I have a second? Assemblywoman Brown May has made that motion to second. If members, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those against say nay. If the nays could please raise their hands. Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblyman Matthews, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblywoman Black, and Assemblyman Ellison are nays. Motion carries. And if I could please ask Assemblywoman Martinez to do the floor statement for that. Assemblywoman Martinez will do the floor statement for Senate Bill 109. Next on the work session document is Senate Bill 127. Mr. McDonald, please.
Senate Bill 127 revises provisions related to the charter of the City of Mesquite. This was sponsored by Senator Hardy and others and heard on April 28th. The bill revises the charter of the City of Mesquite regarding the appointment of the city manager and city attorney by providing that if the person first nominated by the mayor is not confirmed by the requisite number of votes of the mayor and members of the city council, then any member of the city council may submit a nominee for consideration and confirmation. We have no amendments on this bill. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to do pass Senate Bill 127. Assemblywoman Black has made the motion to do pass Senate Bill 127. And Assemblyman Matthews has enthusiastically seconded that motion. Members, any discussion?
Good morning, Chair. Yes, I have Assemblywoman Thomas. I do, as I did during the presentation, have concerns that this is just a quagmire, that the mayor, this would just go on and on of picking someone to be city council, to be on the city council as the city manager, city attorney. And right now, I'm a no.
Thank you, Assemblywoman. Members, any additional discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against say nay. Okay, if the nays could raise their hands, just want to make sure. Understood. Assemblywoman Thomas is a nay. Motion carries. And if I could please ask Assemblywoman Black to please do that floor statement. Assemblywoman Black will do the floor statement for Senate Bill 127. Next on the work session document is Senate Bill 138. Mr. McDonald, please.
Senate Bill 138 revises provisions related to plan development. This bill was sponsored by Senator Lang and Pickard and heard on this committee, in this committee on April 29th. The bill provides that a city or county may only exercise powers related to planned unit development if the county or city enacts an ordinance for a planned unit development in conformance with certain requirements. The ordinance must require the plan to be set forth in written and graphic materials, set forth certain procedures for reviewing an application for a plan, and set forth procedures for reviewing an application to modify, remove, or release any provision of a plan. The bill also revises requirements for minimum site areas and parking for a planned unit development, eliminates a requirement for tentative approval of a plan for a planned unit development under certain circumstances, and makes various other changes related to provisions affecting planned unit developments. We have no amendments on this bill. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to do pass Senate Bill 138. Assemblywoman Dickman has made the motion to do pass Senate Bill 138. Vice Chair Torres has seconded that motion. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Motion carries unanimously. And Assemblywoman Dickman, if I could please ask that you do that floor statement. Assemblywoman Dickman will do the floor statement for Senate Bill 138. Next on the work session document is Senate Bill 222.
Senate Bill 222 revises provisions related to governmental administration and was sponsored by Senator Scheibel and heard in this committee on April 27th. The bill requires state agencies to collect or to collaborate with minority groups on policies, agreements, and programs that affect minority groups and ensure that programs and services are accessible and inclusive. The bill also requires state agencies to designate a diversity inclusion liaison and sets forth certain duties of the liaison. Finally, the bill requires the Office of Minority Health and Equity, the Nevada Commission on Minority Affairs, and the Office for New Americans to facilitate a meeting between the liaisons and minority groups at least once per year and submit an annual report to the governor and the Legislative Commission. We do have one amendment on this bill submitted by Mr. Jimenez shortly after the hearing. You can take a look at that starting on the next page. The attached amendment proposes to amend Section 4 to include those who identify as LGBTQ as a minority group and define LGBTQ to mean lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, or any other non-heterosexual or non-cisgender orientation or gender identity or expression. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to amend and do pass Senate Bill 222.
So moved.
Madam Vice Chair has made the motion to amend and do pass Senate Bill 222. Do I have a second? Assemblywoman Thomas has seconded that motion. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. If the nays could please raise their hands. Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblyman Matthews, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblywoman Black, and Assemblyman Ellison are nays. Motion carries. And if I could please ask Assemblywoman Considine to do that floor statement. Assemblywoman Considine will do the floor statement for Senate Bill 222. Next on the work session document is Senate Bill 237.
Senate Bill 237 revises provisions related to businesses. This bill is sponsored by Senator Harris and Scheibel and heard in this committee on April 28th. The bill makes a legislative declaration that LGBTQ-owned businesses are important to the welfare of the state and intends to provide equal access and opportunities for the formation and growth of LGBTQ-owned businesses in Nevada in relation to the business of the Department of Transportation, similar to the access and opportunities provided to other disadvantaged businesses. The bill adds these businesses to the list of disadvantaged and emerging small businesses that are entitled to receive certain business financing information. The Nevada Department of Transportation, the Cannabis Advisory Commission, and the Regional Business Development Advisory Council for Clark County are each directed to include LGBTQ-owned businesses in their planning and programming and related to businesses, ownership, and development by disadvantaged persons. And the definition of disadvantaged persons is updated to include a person who identifies as LGBTQ. We have two amendments for this bill. On page 27, you'll find an amendment from Senator Harris, which proposes to revise the definition of LGBTQ to mean lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, or any other non-heterosexual or non-cisgender orientation or gender identity or expression. And a second amendment that was discussed during the hearing, proposed by Mr. Mortensen from NDOT, and that's on page 27. This amendment proposes to amend the bill to distinguish the department's efforts to include LGBTQ-owned small businesses from the federally recognized Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program and require the department to include information about LGBTQ-owned small businesses in future studies by the department on disparities in the awarding of contracts. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to amend and do pass Senate Bill 237. Assemblywoman Anderson has made the motion to amend and do pass Senate Bill 237. Do I have a second? I'm sorry, who was the second? Assemblywoman Thomas, second that motion. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those against say nay. If the nays could please raise your hands. Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblyman Matthews, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblywoman Black, and Assemblyman Ellison are nays. Motion carries. And if I could please ask Assemblywoman Anderson to do that floor statement. Assemblywoman Anderson will do the floor statement for Senate Bill 237. Next on the work session document is Senate Bill 253, please.
Senate Bill 253 revises provisions related to alarm systems. This bill was sponsored by Senator Settlemyre and heard on May 5th. The bill prohibits a board of county commissioners or the governing body of an incorporated city from imposing any fee, fine, or penalty on an alarm system contractor or monitoring company for any false alarm that cannot be attributed to the improper installation of the alarm system or any other error committed by the contractor or monitoring company. We have no amendments on this bill. Thank you, Chair.
And thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to do pass Senate Bill 253. Vice Chair Torres has made the motion to do pass Senate Bill 253. Do I have a second? Assemblywoman Dickman has seconded that motion. Members, any discussion? Assemblyman Ellison, please.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I'm going to vote to get this out of committee. I'm still trying to contact the presenters of this bill with the problems we're having in the rural areas with the alarm company. So I'll most likely be changing it no, but right now I'm going to vote yes to get it out of the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman. Members, any additional discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Motion carries unanimously. And if I could please ask Assemblyman MacArthur, if you could please do that floor statement. Assemblyman MacArthur enthusiastically will do the floor statement for Senate Bill 253. Next on the work session document is Senate Bill 283. Mr. McDonald, please.
Senate Bill 283 revises provisions related to local improvements. This bill was sponsored by Senator Brooks and heard on May the 4th. The bill authorizes the governing body of a municipality to create a district to finance or refinance qualified improvement projects for energy efficiency, renewable energy resiliency, or water efficiency if the governing body makes a finding that the creation of the district serves a public purpose, and the governing body adopts by resolution certain procedures for the creation and administration of the district. We do have a couple of amendments for you to take a look at. The first one was presented during the hearing, and that starts on page 31. As presented during the hearing, Senator Brooks proposes to amend the bill to, among other provisions, amend the definition of energy efficiency improvement project and renewable energy improvement project, expand the authority of municipalities over program creation and implementation, prohibit the distribution and sale of electricity between property owners, disqualify land owned by the Department of Defense, clarify that municipalities are not responsible for costs of construction, specify minimum standards for the creation of a district, conform those standards to allow for greater local control, and specify that a district may be created by a majority vote of the governing body. That amendment also deleted Section 12. And then following the hearing, we received another amendment from Senator Brooks, and that's on page 46. This amendment further defines the meaning of water efficiency improvement project in Section 9 to include appurtenances and incidentals necessary, useful, or desirable for any such improvements, facilities, and equipment, and which has a useful life of not less than 10 years. The definition also includes projects designed to conserve or remediate water in whole or in part on the real estate property. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to amend and do pass Senate Bill 283. Assemblywoman Dickman has made the motion to amend and do pass Senate Bill 283. Vice Chair Torres has seconded that motion. Members, any discussion? Vice Chair Torres, please.
Thank you, Chair. I just think that the presentation on May 4th was truly engaging, and I think that this is going to put us light years ahead of where we currently are.
For those of you who are watching, you needed to have been there at the hearing on May 4th to understand what's happening here. Assemblyman Matthews, please.
Yeah, well, my comments are going to be very, very boring now after that. There's a lot I like about, thank you, Chair. There's a lot I like about this bill conceptually. I do have some concerns. I'll continue to work with the sponsors on it. I'm going to be a no today, but I will reserve my rights. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any additional comments? Assemblyman Ellison echoes the sentiment of Mr. Matthews. Members, any additional discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those against say nay. If the nays could please raise their hands. Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblyman Matthews, Assemblywoman Black and Assemblyman Ellison are nays. Motion carries. And if I could please ask Madam Vice Chair to do the floor statement, I'm sure it will be very enticing. And may the force be with you, Madam, with that. Next on the work session document is Senate Bill 294.
Senate Bill 294 revises provisions governing collective bargaining by local government employers. This bill was sponsored by Senator Canizaro and heard on May 5th. The bill provides that in a labor dispute between a government employer and an employee organization that represents employees other than firefighters, police officers, teachers, and educational support personnel, where the parties do not agree whether to make the findings and recommendations of a fact finder final and binding, either party may submit the findings and recommendations of the fact finder to a second fact finder to serve as arbitrator and issue a decision which is final and binding on the parties. The bill also repeals provisions related to the formation of a panel to determine whether the findings and recommendations of a fact finder on a certain issues are to be final and binding. We do have one amendment that was discussed during the hearing, presented by the bill sponsor, Senator Canizaro. You can take a look at that amendment on the next page. This amendment would amend the bill to clarify that procedures for the arbitration of a dispute prescribed by subsections 8 through 13, inclusive of NRS 288-215, apply to the submission of a matter to a second fact finder to serve as arbitrator. Thank you, Chair.
At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to amend and do pass Senate Bill 294. Vice Chair Torres has made the motion to amend and do pass Senate Bill 294. Assemblywoman Martinez has seconded that motion. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those against say nay. If the nays could please raise their hands. Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblyman Matthews, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblywoman Black, and Assemblyman Ellison are nays. Motion carries. And if I could please ask Assemblywoman Considine to do that floor statement. Thank you. Assemblywoman Considine would do the floor statement for Senate Bill 294. Next on the work session document, we have Senate Bill 311. Mr. McDonald, please.
Thank you, Chair. Senate Bill 311 revises provisions related to rural housing. This bill was sponsored by Senator Ratty and heard on April 23rd. The bill authorizes the Nevada Rural Housing Authority to create a for-profit business entity to prepare, carry out, operate, and otherwise manage housing projects, provide for the construction, reconstruction, improvement, extension, alteration, or repair of housing projects, enter into public-private partnerships to finance a housing project, construct or operate a housing project for profit, and make certain payments in lieu of taxes related to the development, operation, and management of housing projects. Finally, the bill authorizes the business entity created by the authority to rent or lease accommodations to persons with a higher income, provided the housing project primarily serves persons of low or moderate income. We have no amendments on this measure. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to do pass Senate Bill 311. Assemblywoman Considine has made the motion to do pass Senate Bill 311. Assemblywoman Brown May has seconded that motion. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those against say nay. If the nays could please raise their hands. Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblyman Matthews, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblywoman Black, and Assemblyman Ellison are all nays. Motion carries. And if I could please ask Assemblywoman Thomas to do that floor statement. Assemblywoman Thomas will do the floor statement for Senate Bill 311. Next on the work session document is Senate Bill 360. Mr. McDonald, please.
Senate Bill 360 revises provisions related to public employment. This bill was sponsored by Senate Government Affairs and heard on April 23rd. Senate Bill 360 makes certain changes to the appointment of members to the board of the Public Employees Benefit Program. We do have one amendment that was discussed during the hearing that was proposed by Senator Marilyn Dondera-Loop, which proposes to amend the bill to delete the existing changes to the board of the Public Employees Benefit Program and instead provide for the appointment of one additional member to the board who is an employee in the classified service of the state. The member must be appointed by the governor from a list of nominations of 10 classified state employees submitted by the labor organization representing the largest number of classified state employees participating in PEB. The amendment also provides that if the labor organization that submitted the member's name ceases to represent the largest number of classified state employees, the member continues to serve for the remainder of his or her unexpired term. Thank you, Chair.
Please let the record reflect Assemblywoman Duran is back. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to amend and do pass Senate Bill 360. Assemblywoman Thomas has made the motion to amend and do pass Senate Bill 360. Assemblywoman Considine second that motion. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those against say nay.
Aye.
If the nays could please raise their hands. Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblyman Matthews, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblywoman Black, and Assemblyman Ellison are nays. Motion carries. And if I could please ask Assemblywoman Martinez to do that floor statement. Thank you. Assemblywoman Martinez will do the floor statement for Senate Bill 360. Last on the work session document is Senate Bill 372. Mr. McDonald, please.
Thank you, Chair. Senate Bill 372 revises provisions related to injury caused by fire. This bill was sponsored by the Senate Committee on Health and Human Services and heard on April 22nd. The bill limits those caused by an open flame, explosion, or flash fire, the types of burn injuries for which a healthcare provider is required to report to either local or state fire authorities for investigation. The bill also extends the timeline for submitting such reports from 3 to 7 working days, requires that in counties with populations under 100,000 people that such reports are to be submitted to the state fire marshal on a form approved by the state fire marshal, and provides that a fire department may rather than shall investigate such a report. We have no amendments on this measure. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to do pass Senate Bill 372. Assemblywoman Dickman has made the motion to do pass Senate Bill 372. Do I have a second? Assemblyman Matthews has seconded that. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those against say nay.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And if I could please ask Assemblywoman Dickman to please do that floor statement. Assemblywoman Dickman will do the floor statement for Senate Bill 372. Members, that completes our work session document for today. Please note that we will be meeting tomorrow before we make our way into public comment. I know that the agenda has not been listed, but please note we will be meeting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We are still finalizing the agenda, but please be on the lookout for that. At this time, we'll open it up for public comment. I want to remind those of you wishing to join us for public comment that this is the time for you to speak about general matters that fall within the purview of this committee. It is not a time to reopen a hearing. We don't have anybody present for public comment. We'll go to the phone lines, please.
To take place in the public comment queue, please press *9 now. Caller, with the last 3 digits of 577, please slowly state and spell your name for the record. You may begin.
Good morning. Chris Daly, DALY, Nevada State Education Association. Last week, I addressed this committee on the collective bargaining process between school districts and educator unions. As I mentioned, if changes aren't made to existing statute, new rules will take effect on July 1st to wall off over $500 million from the collective bargaining process. This will make it nearly impossible for education unions to negotiate any item with a cost through the collective bargaining process. This morning, I'll be reading a couple of comments from our members who will be impacted by this change. Selena LaRue Hatch is a social studies teacher in the Washoe County School District and WEA board member. She writes, I urge you to end the anti-union ending fund balance language that allows districts to wall off up to 16.6% of their operating budget from collective bargaining. There's no legitimate reason this needs to be part of the funding plan and only ensures that educators across the state will no longer be able to collectively bargain for improvements to education or their profession. We have already pushed your educators past our limits this past year. Our workloads have doubled or even tripled, and we have risked our lives and health to keep students learning. Sadly, at the same time, our voices have been silenced as we've been shut out of every major policy decision this body chose to slash our budgets to the bone. The fact that you want to add this suffering with an absurd in-fund balance requirement demonstrates a severe lack of care or understanding from our leaders. Clearly, you don't understand that people can only be pushed so far before they break. However, this pain can easily be avoided. All it requires is a small change to the new funding formula, remove the harmful language which walls off 16% of the district's budget, and allow educators to continue to bargain in good faith without arbitrary and artificial restrictions. Carmen Andrews is a Spanish teacher in the Clark County School District and vice president of the NEA of Southern Nevada. She writes, while the intentions of SB 543 I think were good, in practice it is not good. By increasing the in-fund balance to 16.6%, you're effectively killing the collective bargaining. What did the state of Nevada take from educators to keep collective bargaining? The right to strike. Go ahead, change the in-fund balance to 16.6%, violate the deal that the state made with educators in good faith, and I wonder what might happen if you break this deal. So I hope members of this committee charged with oversight of Section 288 of the NRS are able to help remedy this issue so Nevada can continue to enjoy labor peace in public education. Thank you for your time.
And thank you for joining us this morning. Broadcast, next caller wishing to testify during public comment.
To take place in the public comment queue, please press star 9 now. Chair, the public line is open and working, but there are no callers at this time.
Thank you, Broadcast. Members, thank you for coming in prepared today. I know we had quite a bit of documents on the work session, so I appreciate everybody and collaborating with us and letting us know where everybody's at to make sure that process goes smoothly. Again, we'll be back in here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I know that the agenda has not been posted, but I want to make sure that you know we will for sure be back here tomorrow. Again, thank you for all the work. With that, this meeting's adjourned.